Hello everybody, this is Grumpy Old Guy Gaming, and we are back with some AdventureQuest Worlds. Just something fun to do on a Wednesday afternoon. I did happen to see, through moving about in the last couple days, that a new Saga was coming up that kind of tickled my fancy, so let's go ahead and get into the notes here. Not so much the Pirate Treasure Shop. This Hollowborn Saga, the Dawn versus the Shadow. Let's go ahead and check that out. See how much of it we can get through. Got a cutscene in a graveyard. Says I heard rumors about a young girl on her deathbed. She stared up the ceiling like someone was there. The people around the girl heard her half of the conversation. She was begging not to be taken away, that she was scared and didn't want to go. Word spread, and some are saying she was possessed. Others are saying there's some malevolent entity going around stealing the souls of children, so already we've got some pretty heavy stakes here. What I expected when I arrived here, well, it wasn't this. Considering the circumstances, I would have thought there'd be more gloom. A shadowy figure in all black with 3 question marks for a name goes, awfully pessimistic, aren't we? Not every remote village or tall dark stranger needs to be hiding a horrible secret. Yeah, no, in games like this they kinda do. We look over and go, thought you weren't from this town either. Goes, that's why you approached me? Here I thought it was because I looked like a nice face. Well, certainly not a super shy person, is he? But he goes, but you're right, I'm a visitor from quite far away. Call me Lay. Okay. This may not be my hometown, but a good number of my brethren lived here, died, and were reborn. You see, we go, hold up. That's insanely suspicious. Do you have something to do with the possession? Lay says, loving the enthusiasm, but this is clearly a misunderstanding. You know how rumors are, they get twisted the longer they're passed around. Before we get into a brawl on top of a child's grave, hear me out. I am Hollowborn, and this young lady could have been too. Her possession case was actually a trial of sorts, a test of her character. If you won't believe me at face value, the humble townsfolk would be more than happy to clear the confusion. So we ask him how we don't know he has an ulterior motive, because again in games like this you typically do. Says, cross my heart, I'm not doing anything sneaky behind your back. Another suspicious sentence. Hack a finger off if I do. He's right, you know? Even our in-game selves dead on the money here. We don't want that. Told there's no need to worry. That being said, check out Trouble in Paradise camping by the gate. By the looks of it, shining knights in armor riding on white horses. They're not making trouble, but they aren't trying to look less menacing either. Thought if I was trapped in a castle and saw them riding towards me, I'd duck under the wagon. Interesting word choice there. It says, take care while you're satisfying your curiosity. And into town we go. So this leads us to the quest screen, and more than likely we're going to have to fight just about everything we run across here. See Medic TF2 kind of hanging out there. They are a level 100 Dark Blood Storm King, or at least were. They seem to have just died. Let's see what we got going here for the quests. Wunjo reversed. Look at how these folk are setting up a tourist trap right outside the town's gates. They don't even live here, and they're dragging travelers over to make them listen to their sermon. On our way to town, we might need to gently tell them that we're not buying what they're selling. Too bad for them if they try to bully and throw the first punch. We'll throw the last punch, and we're trying to get 10 armor chunks. Willing to say we're not getting armor chunks out of these animals, so let's move on. And I'm guessing we're going after the Vindicators here. Go ahead, set up in my spot, and Not sure if we got any armor chunks there. Certainly doesn't look like it. Did we even pick the quest up? Was I that dumb to not accept the quest? Entirely possible. Yep, I forgot to accept the quest. Do apologize for that little false start. Now let's go back in and hack these Vindicators up for the right reasons. You know, to get their stuff. There we go. Now the armor's flying. Just gonna wait here. The class I've got, Shadow Stalker of Time, came with a calendar. Last year we skipped it just due to, the pandemic and certain, just trying to make sure we had essentials in before anything else, and just never did get around to the calendar from last year. But we typically do buy an Arctic's Entertainment calendar every year, and they have these neat sort of time-themed classes most years. Think I may have to pick one up this year just for wifey. She loved grinding classes in this game, but everything she picked up were upgrade classes, so when we let our memberships run out and just put the money towards more important things, she kinda lost everything but base mage. Let's go ahead and turn that in. We got our 10 chunks of armor. Moving up next to Berkana. What a warm welcome. All these flowers everywhere to celebrate so soon after tragedy. I don't get that sort of thing, but I haven't been invited to that many funerals either. Ask that old man Welk about the customs. We're sightseeing after all. Oh, right, I meant investigating. Care to ask why they let these pests run around too? So we're looking for 9 blood eagle feathers, and we gotta talk to Welk. Let's go ahead and take out this blood eagle right here. And move on our way. This screen's pretty well left alone, and I really don't want to bother other players who may be farming different things, so I think I'll just stick here until we're a bother. Plenty of other map we could explore, but for now we're after the Blood Eagle feathers, and this Blood Eagle seems to be respawning pretty regularly. A little bit of bonus experience and everything, not bad to pick up either. As you can see, we are only level 66. Coming from the fact that the bulk of my time playing was spent where the level cap was either 20 or 65. I played this a lot when it first came out on a very unstable internet connection on a very slow computer. But it was kind of neat because I got to play it from the beta stage onward. I got to see some really interesting things. 6 Blood Eagle feathers. Now, you think we could have picked 9 up off the first one we killed, but I get in the nature of quest drops. There's number 7. Got this not super well dressed for battle recruit who's just kind of hacking away at us, but I'm not super worried about that. There's number 8. Just letting the skills come back around. We'll take the hood, we'll leave the treasure chest. Now we have to find Welk. There's Welk. Says, "Welcome, great glory bringer. Your reputation precedes you." That's frightening. To have a decorated champion visit our humble town is an honor indeed, and if I'm being quite honest, very reassuring. Well, I'm not going to argue with that mustache. Awful and untruthful rumors have been spread about a tragedy in our community. It led the strangers to our doorstep, and they get rowdier as the days pass. Okay. There you have some different dialogue options. The glory bringer part goes just like you are. People journey out into the world to seek glory in life and purpose in death. Dying in one's sleep is for the sow. For our savior, our liberator, only blesses heroes who fight to their last. So a very action-first ideology here. Even if they fail to become glory bringers, the Liberator accepts them into their heaven. My chance is long past. So this poor guy in this society is just sort of hanging about well after his adventuring days are done. When it comes to the tragedy, he says a gang of orcs broke through the wall one night, charging into the children's ward. A young girl, Alvi, lured them away but could not escape. Her bravery allowed her an audience with our Liberator. Doesn't matter that she did not become a glory bringer. Trigvi, I'm going to go with that, will celebrate her life with the flowers she used to pick in the fields until the sun sets for the last time. Says, our young hero was buried a couple days ago. This is the one body we've buried in my lifetime. Only those visited by the Liberator are remembered and immortalized. I must confess, this should be changed. Alvy's parents died of disease years ago. We weren't able to bury them together. So we got all the information we needed to. Talking to Welk. Turn this quest in. Coming up to Algi's Reversed, which sounds like Zigla. The rumors have been causing quite a bit of trouble for the townsfolk. Their Liberator is a boogeyman to folks like the trooper outside the town's shrine. She's shaking mad like she's about to throw a rock at the window. Shall we hit her and her compatriots up for conversation before it comes to that? That sounds like a plan, but I don't think conversation is what they're after. Going for 9 more armor chunks, and we get to talk to Genevieve, who I'm sure will be nowhere near as friendly as Welk. So that's just the way this works. You run into one friendly person and then one not so friendly person. That is Genevieve. Dawn Vindicator flag bearer says, do you see the blasphemy this town is committing? If you carved a hole in their skulls, you'd either find nothing or an evil miasma. Not only do they abandon their children to go satisfy their bloodthirst in war, they're worshipping a malicious spirit. We, the Dawn Vindicators, came here to save them, but this town's too far gone. Mission says, you already follow our creed. I think you'd be welcomed with a high rank from initiation, for the Dawn Vindicators seek to purge beasts of all forms from lore in the name of our master's lost love. When the last of the fiends fall, the world will finally become the sacred garden it was meant to be, a garden for the human race. So rather zealous in their statement there. Dawn Vindicator flag bearer Genevieve goes on to say the shrine they have made to the corrupted is disturbing, to say the least. They enshrine minions of this Liberator, this foul creature who hides its form from the dark, has tricked them into selling their souls. How idiotic when the true Liberator, our master, walks in the light. Got a tag here saying achievements. Let's check that out. It says, all the forests of Dwarfhold, not silent as they should be. Are the shadows still and our sleep restful? Be grateful to our master Gramiel. The elven, Orcish, and Dwarven may pretend to keep to themselves, but have always proven to be violent by nature. Animals have children in litters. Why do they dash out so madly if we accidentally trample a few? So you get the feeling that perhaps we're not after the most wholesome things here with these Dawn Vindicators. But we have spoken to Genevieve, and now we've got to collect chunks of armor, which means hi-ho, a bash, and we will go. Only one soldier popping up here, so let's go back a screen, where we had a recruit and a soldier hanging out. Sort of double up on our ability to collect here. Take a couple shots in the meantime, but our heal over time going to more than amply support us. Hadn't noticed that boar was still there. halfway through our armor chunk collection at the moment. Now, normally, if you have to travel a great distance, there will be some sort of icon you can click in the upper right-hand corner to turn in quests after a while. Don't quite have that going on here, so looks like we'll just be walking back a couple screens after this. Not any big loss, truth be told. It's not the toughest trek to make. As you can see, this class is very good with the healing. It has that wonderful heal over time if you cycle through. And, as an added bonus, my weapon, the Blade of Awe, I have an awe enhancement on it from our member days that it boosts my mana, has a bit of mana steal on it. So those work very well in tandem. Finish that quest out. Get to Gibo. Says, it isn't fair to take without giving back, even when it's something as simple as knowledge. Before we dive deeper into the heart of things, I think the town would appreciate some gifts for Alvy's siblings. Get me some materials I think I could stitch together a stuffy. So we need 8 patches of boar hide, and then we need to talk to Solbjort, who I'm guessing is a person at the toy store or what have you. We got invited to a group, but unfortunately I'm just not feeling the social activity today. Very much a solo player unless I'm hanging out with the missus or one of the few friends we had that played about the same time as us. Nothing personal, just not my deal to party up. Get a patch of boar hide. I'm not sure if there's a squad with 2 boars anywhere, but I think we'll move pretty well through here. Silver Vindicator recruit armor, not really my styling, so we will gracefully decline that honor. It's not bad, it's just the wearing a short vest sort of deal. Not my deal. Plus, those are very clunky boots. And honestly, I'm very happy with the armor I've got. It's the Platinum Armor cosmetic from way back in the day. Could still find it in Swordhaven. See, Batong 28 just beating the crap out of stuff here. Got our 5th patch there. Feel we might be in our way more than anything. But we have picked up most of our patches, so one more will do it, and then we're off on the quest to find Solbjort. There we go. And now let's just walk around. Is he in the shrine? No, shrine's just full of strange statues missing heads and arms. Perhaps in this open door? That's Solbjort, who is very much a woman, and I was not expecting that. She is a retired dragoon. Going by the phonetics, I thought it would be a man, and that is really silly of me to assume. Apologies. She goes, welcome. You're travelers. I was hoping you were parents coming for a visit. This is the children's ward. When a child can walk on their own, our warriors leave them and return to battle. Normally the eldest takes care of the younger, but Alvy's gone now. I figured that since my horse fell before I did, that I'll care for the young ones in her place. Well, that's sweet of her. When it comes to the subject of children, Solbjort says, it's so somber now. Back when I grew up here, we'd play pretend with our toy swords until they broke. Real battles were for when we were fully grown. Those children faced death far too early. I'm not good at this, but I need to convince them that they shouldn't feel guilty about Alvy's sacrifice. On the subject of Alvy, she says, our little hero spent her entire life here. Alvy's parents died of disease, so she arrived at the children's ward as a baby. In the end, she did leave us to accompany the Liberator for all eternity. Should make us feel at peace, but even in death, her family will never reunite. It hurts my soul. So their ideology apparently states that Alvi will be with the Liberator, and because her parents died of disease, there's not much can be done. They're just off to a different place in their afterlife. When it comes to the Vindicators, it says, I've fought alongside them when our goals aligned, defending the countryside from beasts. Their elites are incredibly skilled and ferocious despite their pompous attitude. Except, most of their ambitions are eroded. They fight solely to see their master's vision realized. They say Gramiel works tirelessly towards a world of peace. I'd say piles of ash are very peaceful. So you've got a little bit of distrust on the part of Solbjort, coming from some first-hand experience over time with these Dawn Vindicators. The roles have certainly been laid out that we've got a somewhat misunderstood culture here in the town, and the Vindicators are just sort of pushing their ideology on everything else. Oh, okay. That's a pet. Asma has a Sneevil pet with a wagon. Cash that quest in, and we go to Ehwaz. I'm going to guess that's how you say it. Ehwaz. Says, lovely, a bunch of those Vindicators ran inside the shrine to cause trouble. We can't let them vandalize the building, especially not that extremely handsome statue over there. So we've got to pacify 9 soldiers and examine 3 statues. I get the feeling this entire battle happens inside the shrine, and I get the feeling that we're not going to be able to do this on our own unless we switch to a private instance. But there's no fun in that either, so let's just go in and see what we wind up with. Oh, there we go. Examine the first statue, and then the second, and finally the third. No soldiers in here. No, really no soldiers in here. Here's a board with 2 of them. Let's go and take them out. Just kind of letting things progress. 3 soldiers down already. Now I do have a few different classes, but honestly this one is by far and away my favorite. I just kind of stick with it because it sort of plays itself, and this is the kind of game that I like to sort of play to relax, to chill out. I don't get the chance to play it very often either. Gonna try and make a habit to play it more, as we've certainly had a good bit of response to the Arctic's Entertainment uploads we've done so far. Done an AQ Worlds live stream, and also done an AdventureQuest little primer video. That one I owe my son a second upload, so expect some AdventureQuest coming down the road here. Just gonna finish up here. There we go. That clears the screen out nice and even. And now I feel good walking away. I hate to walk away with a battle ongoing. Especially since, you know, we are getting some experience out of this. Walk the whole way out of town, and this is the last quest we had in the chain. So I would expect some sort of cutscene transitioning us to the second half of the thing going. Let's turn it in. Here's our cutscene. We're back in the sort of sanctuary with Lay. He says, hello again, Glorybringer. Do you see the full picture now? Pretty well illustrated for us. Point out that Glorybringer is the title the people of this town used to call the Hollowborn. Over time, their real names faded and their history became fables. If I'm understanding right, That girl Alvy saved the other children by luring the invading monsters out of town, but couldn't outrun them. The town's guards were too late. On the brink of death, she was visited by the being they called the Liberator. From the shadows, they answered her call for help. A promise to give her body the strength to rival an army and another chance at walking in the light. That and more was offered to little Alvy. The child, like the warriors who came before her, accepted the offer. She underwent the test. Then this liberator possessed her body. If her will to live was strong enough, she would have become a glory bringer, a Hollowborn. But she failed. What a waste. So we're just kind of pondering all of that. He goes, then, is it true? Her soul was erased and her consciousness was assimilated into the Liberator? Leia just sort of says, can't win them all. I'm sure her people are happy her soul is with their deity and not rotting in the underworld. Is that all he has to say? He goes, what, are you mad at me? If someone has to catch flack, then I'll be happy to take it. Most candidates get assimilated. They're on death's door, confused and terrified. The experience is more harrowing than what actually killed them. I went through it myself. It takes someone special to join our ranks. You have to understand that not everyone has what it takes to step up. We're still trying to piece it together. We're like, what you're saying is a kid, not even tall enough to climb a chair on her own, who is willing to die alone in the dark to save the other children, is just a nobody. They didn't deserve to live. He goes, come on, I didn't say that. He said, you don't have to. The attitude says it all. It's funny, actually, the names of the Hollowborn in this shrine are forgotten. The town and their descendants promised to keep Alvy's name alive until the end of all days. Why are you still smiling? Leia says, contrary to most, I like arguing. The rest of the world falls quiet. We're solely focused on each other's impassioned words. Being questioned isn't a bad thing, especially because you feel so strongly about it. And your perspective is intriguing. Seems like I have new ideas to think about. All of a sudden the doors burst open and we hear, Glory Bringers! Welk says, we must go to arms. The Vindicators are mobilizing. They're heading towards the graves. Leia says they finally make their move and it has to be now. We say, if you're going to stick around, fine, but I'm heading out. So this transitions us to nighttime, and this wonderful, peaceful cemetery now seems to be all sorts of busted up. Leia says those Vindicators are finally making their move. I don't have a problem with my fellow Hollowborn who are driven by their loyalty to the Shadow Scythe, the rulers of Swordhaven, Legion, Nation, etc., etc. There's a deep disrespect here, both from the master to his vassals, and the vassals taking it out on others. Some discipline is in order. Let's check this out. First quest says, Halgalaz says, here's the wake-up call. The Vindicators' tempers have boiled over. They set fire to the shrine and surrounding buildings. We would let the townsfolk take care of it on their own, but you want to help in case it gets out of control? If you want to, then I'll join. So we have to snuff out 8 fires, and this is typically a blue arrow quest where you walk around and look for things like this with blue arrows over them and just interact with them to do the thing. Typically, most of them are wide out in the open. Every now and then you'll get one just behind a monster spawn, and you either have to kill the monster and click the arrow in the interim, or, just be careful about your spacing. Hope somebody else draws the thing away. That worked out nicely there, both in timing and execution. That's 6 fires. Last 2 should be on this screen. Hey, happy about that. That's 8 for 8, and back outside of town to the cemetery we go. Going to be a little longer than I expected this upload to be, but this is a fun quest chain, and I kind of want to get it all in one shot here. Nice thing about AQ Worlds, sort of similar to its predecessor AdventureQuest, you get these little adventures in, not quite as condensed as AQ Classic, but still a good time all around. It says a vindicator is someone who clears another of blame or suspicion. They give proof of innocence. I suppose burning away the crimes they see here is a quick way to achieve that. A lot of cynicism out of that, man. Can't really blame them. It says those monsters around town have been whipped into a violent frenzy by the sudden attack. Townsfolk are too preoccupied defending each other from them to go after the Vindicators. Guess that means we'll have to take a bit of weight off their shoulders. So we've got to take out 9 boars and 9 eagles. That last screen had... Well, actually, that first screen had one of each too, but I kind of want to stay away from crowds at the moment. So we'll head the whole way to the back of the town and grab that screen with a boar and an eagle in it and just keep rocking away until we get 9 of each. Take our battle down here. I think I missed step 4 there, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. There we go. A rune piglet pet. Probably not going to use it, but could always sell it off. Only ever use one pet in this game, and that's that dark wolf. That was also part of the beta. A lot of my gear comes from just being around since 2008. Doesn't really say a whole lot for progress for me, but again, it's a nice moment in time, and it's one I choose to remember fondly. 6 eagle talons and 5 boar bones. We got a little out of rhythm off of that first round there, but we're catching up nicely. Fight this Vindicator while we wait on our skills to come back from cooldown. Okay, we need 1 more eagle and 2 more boars. I think we could do that rather handily. Especially since we're winding up at full health and mana at the end of darn near every round. Gotta love those feelings. Not even using the rest command. Obviously we're fighting things that are well below us and no bosses yet, so it's pretty easy to be thrilled with that. Like I said, I hate to leave on an incomplete battle, so we'll take the extra bit of time and finish everything off there. Nothing's currently fighting us, so back out we go. Little dinged up on hit points, but that'll happen. We'll have a slow regen over time here. If we were really worried about it, we could take a kneel down here, take the rest command, and heal back up to full. But that quest is in the books. Bringing us to Thurisaz. Says, before we were just dealing with the Vindicators as annoying visitors. This time I want to see you bring the hammer on them. Both I and the townsfolk want to see the fury of a glory bringer in action. So we now have 14 Vindicators we have to take out. And really, I'm kind of finding a hard time really seeing the virtue of either side here, but I guess it's sort of dire circumstances, and, you know, once graves and memorials are attacked, I could see the town being in a bit of an ire. This screen here with the Vindicator, Recruit, and Soldier seems to be as good as it gets for farming purposes. And we should make quick work of this 14. Little off on my timing there. Not the best round for me. Yeah, that looked far better. And we're halfway to our goal already. Normally I would be doing a stream for my Wednesdays, but honestly, there's a lot of little animations and things, and sometimes I worry that the live stream doesn't pick everything up as smoothly as I would like. Plus, as weird as it sounds, as busy a day as it's been, I'd rather have the secure knowledge and knowing that a good upload is being brought up than just sort of going scattershot through a stream, and if something happens, oh well, too bad. So we've got our 13 Vindicators, should be getting our 14th here this round. And there is our clear screen with nothing fighting us, and we're clear to turn this in. Quest complete, bringing us to Othala. Final quest in this leg of the thing says, a good home stays warm even in mourning. That's actually a very lovely sentiment. I like that sentence. That's hard to come by. I don't think I had a home until I became Hollowborn. As a token of Trigvi's dedication to my brethren, I'll do my part in expelling its invaders. So this is just a general 7 creatures, 7 Vindicators sort of deal. We just gotta fight everything in town. That's the deal. Let's go ahead and take a few runs at this screen. And then we'll move to a screen with 2 animals and 1 Vindicator. I knew I'd be able to talk eventually. I mean, we're just laying the punishment down here. Yeah, I think 7-4 is a good point to go ahead and transition here. Should be a screen with a couple monsters. Yeah, a couple monsters, 1 Vindicator. That'll help us get this done nice and quick. Just need to take down 1 Blood Eagle, and just for the sake of scientific purposes, I'll let my auto attacks take care of this one, every now and then getting that extra proc for the mana regen ability. Gets a nice bit of damage too. Gave my fingers rest there, the ability to just sit back, do a little commentary. And now we're turning in Othala, which should take us to cutscene number 3. Not sure if this will wrap it up or lead us to a boss battle. We'll have to check this out here. We come in saying stop, as you see all sorts of Vindicators hanging around, as well as Lay. Vindicator says, on what grounds? A malicious entity has stolen the soul of the child buried on this hill. And they're clearly digging up the grave there, which is absolutely the worst. Her body is contaminated by its evil. I mean, honestly, who digs up a kid's grave? We are doing the people a service by purging it. That's really the lowest of the low. Lay says, that can't be all you want to do. I'm not seeing any flint or kindling. Judging by how dedicated you are to doing good, I would have thought you'd burn the body on the spot. Grand High Vindicator dude steps in, as you can tell from his nicely ornamented flowing robes, and he says, you would be correct. but evil has congealed in the roots of this town. They worship the same entity that steals their souls, or worse, corrupt them into beasts. We hear, "Commander Gramiel, my lord!" So this is indeed the big high holy, if you will. Gramiel says burning the body will not suffice. The corpse is to be dissected and examined. See, anytime you hear talk like this, you know this dude's evil. Says we must learn all that we can about the influence of this so-called liberator has on this town. Such a grand name for a paltry ghoul. Lay just stands there silent. Because for we are the Dawn Vindicators, does Gramiel, burdened by our mission to protect the pure from the fangs of evil. We look at him and go, you won't even listen to Alvy's family? Their beliefs are strange and a bit freaky, but they aren't hurting anyone. You're the one barging in making a mess when they're trying to do better. Listen to yourself. You're digging up a child's grave, which, as we pointed out, is beyond despicable. Gramiel says, ease your worries. What is buried here is no longer a child. Classic villain text there. She must have been of the wicked sort to attract the attention of the false deity. That's probably going to tick us off. Says, that was all a really long and embarrassing pitch to convince me to break your kneecaps. Lay says, if you're taking the left, I'd like to smash the right. Gramiel says, pathetic. Truly pathetic. Yet more proof that humanity cannot stand on its own. They need me to rescue them from their own foolishness. So we now have Gramiel hanging out there, and this is more than likely our boss battle. Says Issa reversed, which seems to be Aussie. We should be honored that the Vindicator's Grand Master showed up himself. Alvy's quite popular. Since we didn't bring any flowers or toys, how about we actually have that brawl on the child's grave? I'm sure she'd appreciate us beating up her bully. We will take the quest, and I kind of don't want this to be a group battle here, so I'm going to go ahead and remember the name Trigvi, and actually, you know what? I should really see just how strong Gramiel is. Level 50. I think we can take that down. So I'm going to head back to the house here, and then I'm going to type in a / command. Join Trigvi 1313. That should be a nice private field. Sure enough. Turn the music off there. Let's see if we could solo Gramiel. We have 180,000 hit points and a level 50 monster. Here we go. Stabby, stabby time. Not seeing anything truly great about their attacks. Hitting us for about 1/4 of our health on the stronger shots, but our heal over time is going to make up for the difference. I mean, already we're hanging out pretty close to full health, and they're down to about half. Now, it's not to say they're not doing any damage. So we do have to be mindful of that, and really it would have been smart had I put some sort of healing item to my 6th slot there where potions can be affixed. But what can I say, I'm old school. I'm a bit of a purist, and I like to take things down on my own merits. Which we'll do right about there. So we got our quest done. It'll auto turn in as it's the boss battle and lead us to our final cutscene, where we're charging in. Awesome battle scene. Goes, Lay, anytime now. See Lay come in from behind. Gramiel says, parlor tricks. We jump in. Gramiel starts glowing white, goes, enough. We get dinged up a little bit, go, He might have gotten a hit in on me while I was blinded. Leia just looks and goes. And we go, that stings worse than it should have. What was that light? Graymeal says, you! Both of you possess power that should rip a mortal's body apart. Or maybe you talk too big for a bag of lukewarm air. Leia says, sheesh, and I thought you were pretty angry at me back in the shrine. Graymeal says, I only show my power to true threats to humanity, which I guess is us, and it has become obvious that you are the servants of the false liberator. Leia says, say that we are. We say, don't. Leia says, we all decide to completely let loose and raise this lovely pastoral forest to the ground. Not a great look for your vindicators, right? You didn't harass the townsfolk enough to make them go to war like your other victims. How about you cut your losses and we meet up another weekend? Graymeal says, those are the excuses of a coward, now with vindicators all around. Graymeal says, unfortunately, I will have to let you two escape. For now. My brave soldiers have suffered injury thanks to you and the town you've duped. But our main goal has been accomplished. Farewell for now, vermin, but mark my words, I will hunt you down. Your flayed carcasses will lay exposed to the light. Leia says, they're gone. You need to lay down. We say, I'm not that bad. Just because I'm not Hollowborn and invincible doesn't mean I can't walk off a bruise. Leia says, we're not totally invulnerable. We look and say Alvy's grave is going to need a bit of sweeping, but otherwise. They mentioned they had another goal? Shoot. Taking a look, Solbjort says, we couldn't stop them. They took the children, all of them. Do you know where they were kidnapped to and why? Solbjort says the Vindicators were rounding them up for some sort of reformation. So if you needed more proof that the Dawn Vindicators are the absolute bad guys in this, they just kidnapped an entire orphanage. Solbjort says, I don't know what that is or where this will happen. Leia says they were quick and honed in on their targets. This can't be the first time they've tried this strategy. It's safe to say they must have a base to hold so many prisoners. Leia says hopefully this reformation takes time. Going to need it to track their movements. We look over and say, you're going to stick around and help? Leia says, you and I are similar. Whether we were the ones starting trouble or not, we'll be the ones to finish it. So I guess that's it for the quest line. We do have one more quest that says Nathes. It's just to give us a Vindicator badge here, where we could kill off 8 Eagle Hearts, 8 Boar Hearts, and the Vindicator Seal. Not too terribly worried about that. And there is a merge shop that we've been ignoring from the get-go on this. Got a chance to pick up the Dawn Vindicator's blade, sword, or bow, as well as the Captain armor, the Inquisitor armor, the Recruit armor, and the Soldier armor, along with matching helmets. And a gold voucher. But I think that's going to do it for us here today. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thanking you for watching, and take care wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and we'll see you next time.